Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of American Heroes Outdoors. We are in northwest Iowa in the Lake Okoboji Spirit Lake area, and I couldn't be more excited. I've been waiting my whole life to come down here, and it's not what I expected. I had heard how commercialized it is, and while it is that, this is a fishery beyond compare. We are here in the springtime. We're going to be fishing walleyes with the Iowa Great Lakes Fishing Club, who's helped us set this whole event up, and we are going to be fishing with some great Northwest Iowa veterans, and I couldn't be more excited. So stay tuned because this is going to be a super fun show.
American Heroes Outdoors shares the stories of our nation's true heroes, a documentation of journey, commitment, struggle, and healing. A glimpse into the sacrifice and bravery of our servicemen and women. This is American Heroes Outdoors.
Hey everybody, good morning. We are down in the Spirit Lake Okoboji area with Joe Quayle this morning on board, a Coast Guard veteran, and we are going to go out and try to catch some walleyes this morning. I have never been down here before, and we're in a very, very shallow eutrophic lake, 5-6 feet deep at the max. We are going to pull shallow running Berkeley flicker shad. You know, I'm a huge Berkeley believer anyway, but the Berkeley flicker shad, the reason is the water's really stained. It's shallow, it's stained. And the flicker shad has a rattle inside, and it rattles that bait. And we're going to pull them on planer boards to get them away from the boat, because fish tend to be shy. The water temp's only 57. That's kind of the game plan, is to pull crankbaits today and see what we can come up with. I understand the lake has some nice perch, nice walleyes, nice pike. So we'll just see what we bring up this morning. We'll go run some water and see if we can find some fish.
You know, I was born and raised here. You know, it's home for me. But you know, the Coast Guard took me around. I saw the rest of the world, and I saw all the third world countries, and it's an eye-opener, you know, when you get to see that. So it makes you appreciate this place a lot more. It's pretty safe here. There's a lot to do here, although people will tell you there's not. But if you're outdoors person, there's a lot to do. When I went down to the recruiter's office when I got out of college, went down there, and I was talking to the Army quite a bit, but they wanted to make me like a nuclear tech or something like that for 10 years. And finally the Coast Guard guy called me and said, oh, we were fishing all week, and but up in Lake Michigan, but now I can talk to you. So that kind of swayed me. The Coast Guard's a lot different than the typical military. Back when I was in it, it's not under the Department of Defense, it was under the Department of Transportation. So you were kind of a law enforcement versus like the DOD that can't shoot at people. The Coast Guard could, you know. I've been on the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. I spent a lot of time on Lake Michigan, got up to Lake Superior a couple times. When I was in there was only 30,000 or so coasties, so it's it's the smallest military there is. Longest time we did was probably 40 days, 45 days without seeing any land. You know, I was newly married, and I hadn't had my first kid yet, and so that was the toughest part of it. The day I got back from an extended trip, I had my first son like 8 hours later. The Coast Guard's multifaceted. You know, but Coastie does 10 times what other militaries do.
Keep going.
American Heroes Outdoors is brought to you by Scheels, the Disabled American Veterans, Smoky Hills Outdoor Store, Skeeter Boats, and Yamaha Outboards, Woodland Resort, Ottertail Lakes Country, Ice Castle Fish Houses, and S&S Promotional Group. We're sharing more stories on our social media pages, Scheels Hometown Heroes, Sunday Service Spotlight, and more. Help us share more stories of our servicemen and women.
Welcome back. This whole event was orchestrated by the Iowa Great Lakes Fishing Club and their ongoing mission to help the local community gain a better understanding of the stewardship of fishing, and more importantly, encourage children and adults to get outdoors.
I think our club, even though we're focused on kids events, we still need to take time and remember things that are important to us and our country. And certainly honoring our veterans in whatever way we can is a big deal.
Well, right now I think we're just trying to expose to the public the amount of individuals that don't get the recognition for serving our country, whether it be in Vietnam, whether it was in Korea, World War II or whatever. I mean, it's sad to say, but there's a lot of those people out there that nobody knows anything about.
Had a little fishing deal today at lake here in northwest Iowa to honor two of our veterans that displayed courage for our country, and we're very glad to help host their fishing event.
Coast Guardie Joe Quayle and I were having a tough time figuring out this shallow water bite. However, guys Shane and Vietnam veteran Tom Goka had him dialed in.
Fish. My father was in the World War II in the artillery as a forward observer. He went through Europe, freed the concentration camps. To me, they're the true heroes. Uncle Sam drafted me in 1969. I took basic training. When you were drafted, you were pretty well 100% sure you were going to go to Vietnam. So once I got done with Fort Sill, they gave us a month off to go see the family, and then we were shipped over. It's just like everybody tells you, you get off the plane, you can't get your breath for the heat and the smell. You can't believe how hot it is, and the humidity is off the chart. My job was on the guns at first. Yeah, we were in combat. We would get shelled from the enemy. We lost men through that part of it. They had us zeroed in a couple places, so our captain had enough brains to move us hill to hill by chopper and drop us off on another hill. Spend time there until the military got too far away from you to support them, and then they'd load us up and take us to another hill. I ended up spending 14 months in Vietnam. Basically, you have to have faith. That's my theory. Yeah, I survived through the prayers of my mother.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. I gotta back up as soon as I can get out of your way here. Bigger than the last one.
So we're in northwest Iowa on a small prairie lake, approximately about 6 foot deep at the deepest. Gets heavily stocked, that's why it's such a good lake. And there are some natural springs, and then it's tile fed from all the fields around it. So it's a really good lake for walleyes, pike, crappies, perch. We had a really cold night last night, so the water temperature dropped. And so the first hour and a half this morning was really slow, but the sun's out, so water warmed up about 3 degrees and the bite took off. Had several walleyes, a few pike, perch. The Iowa Great Lakes Fishing Club is a huge part of northwest Iowa here. They do several things for the community. They have a kids fishing day. They help out with several tournaments and different outings in the area. They host 2 tournaments themselves. Big part of helping the DNR with certain projects and whatnot too. So it's a great organization to be part of. Can't go wrong by joining organizations like that in your area, no matter where you live.
We have our limit already. So it's been a very enjoyable day for me, and I'm very much appreciative for being able to do this. I thank everybody involved.
Hey, good morning everybody. Day 2, we're out on East Lake Okoboji, and we are fishing crappies this morning. So running a weed line here about 12 to 14 feet deep with small jigs, and we're just kind of moving along, and we've caught a couple small ones and a sunfish. So a beautiful morning. Again, yesterday was a phenomenal day. So, you know, I've got Joe and Roger, and you know, Joe didn't give up on me yesterday, and I'm pretty happy that he didn't, because he ended up stuck a nice 27-inch walleye, and we ended up getting our limits. So that worked out well. Now if we can get Roger here to show us his secrets, because we know that Roger knows a lot about this lake, but he so far has been kind of got Iowa lockjaw. He doesn't want to tell us where the secret spots are, but we'll get it out of him today.
Oh, I like fishing crappies and bluegills, panfish. Here we go. It's impressive with a light rod. Oh, he's mad. He's mad. Oh yeah. Little booger. Actually, I can basically say I'm home right here. I grew up on a farm 5 miles straight east out here.
Okay.
Went to school here in Ormond Park. Graduated out of there. Got drafted. Went to El Paso, Texas for my basic and AIT training. And then came home and shipped off to Vietnam. I flew. I was a fortunate one to fly. Did my tour of duty for 1 year over there, and came home and married my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, for 52 years. You know, it was another thing. It just kept things bottled up inside. It was a way of life that when you got home, you had to move on with your life. I never shared anything like this with anybody. You know, just nobody. Yeah, I don't regret. I don't regret being drafted. I don't regret doing my tour of duty or anything. I had no idea where I was going. I mean, I knew I was going to Vietnam to the country, but I had no idea what was in front of me. I didn't know it was going to be an 18-hour plane ride. I didn't know anything until the plane landed, and next thing you're going to go over here, and yeah, a lot of action. Christmas, Thanksgiving. I remember they come and woke us all up at Christmas or Thanksgiving, and said that we got to do a mine patrol, and so off we went Thanksgiving Day, and then sure enough we had to we found some, and then Christmas was the same day, same thing, do mine sweeps. So but anyway, crappie.
There's a lot of floats.
This time I changed up, Scott. I got a crappie instead.
Nice little crappie. Not big enough for the box, but
Oh, he's kicking me. No, a little bit of crappie maybe. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got, oh yeah, this is a big one, but I don't know. Come on in to pop up. Oh, another gill.
another gill. You've got the gills figured out. Hey everybody, great day out on the water. We were out here a little while this morning and the weather's been fantastic. Caught a bunch of crappies this morning, some bluegills. A lot of small fish, but that's good for the system. Enjoyed having these guys in the boat with me. I had Joe down 2 days and it's been good getting to know him. And you know, Roger allowed us to stay at his condo, Roger and Sue. What great hospitality, and thank you for your service, guys. It's been a great time and we look forward to coming back next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Interested in supporting our mission at American Heroes Outdoors? Go to AmericanHeroesOutdoors.com to nominate your very own hero or drop a donation to support our nation's true heroes.
Welcome back to the show.
And now it's time for our next Scheels hometown hero, Tyler Hicks.
It's my job to hold down that button. I just wanted to make sure that nobody got hurt. It was, you know, I signed up to be a firefighter. I volunteered to do this, whether it's going and, you know, the cliche rescuing cats out of trees or going in a burning house to try and save somebody. It's my day of doing my job. It's the way I always looked at it.
Welcome to Scheels Hometown Heroes.
Scheels Hometown Heroes is a way for us to say thanks to those that serve our country and our community.
And are still giving back to others today.
We honor your service by sharing your stories.
From all of us at Scheels, thank you for your service.
Hi everyone, Jeremiah Matz here with Scheels in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Today we're here to celebrate and honor our hometown hero, Tyler Hicks. Oh, welcome to Scheels.
Thanks.
I want to thank you for everything you do in the community and kind of present this Scheels hometown hero for you.
Oh, thank you. I've always said my hometown's Charles City, but I actually grew up out on an acreage out south of Cowell. It's a little small town of less than 500 people, just on the other side of the county from Rudd. Another friend that I'd known from back in the day, he asked me, would you want to join the Rudd Fire Department? We could really use some guys, and sure, you know, I always want to help somebody, and got on, you know, and that was October of 2020, almost not quite 2 years or so. It's just pretty much thrown right into the fire right away, you know, with what happened here in December with that tornado.
We had been hearing about gale force winds coming, and we heard, you know, our alerts went off about tornado warnings on our phones. And I said, hon, you better get going.
Me being so new on the department, I didn't know where all the other storm spot locations. I got the lucky duty of sounding the siren. Well, actually had failed that night. Our siren's was an older one from the 1940s or 50s. Yeah, I was standing outside holding the button down, and the wind really started picking up, and it was getting kind of hard to stay in the same location, and I could feel, as I'm holding down the button, I could feel that pull, like swaying a little bit with the wind and stuff, and I was like, oh man, here it comes, and was sitting there holding the button up, and I felt there wasn't a button there anymore, and that's when we decided to retreat to the cover of the fire truck and observe the storm from in there.
When all those winds picked up, the siren was going, and then it just stopped, and I knew who was at the other end of that siren, but I was just trying to not freak out because I didn't want to freak our kids out. Yeah, what he did that day was just selfless. He just has the biggest heart.
After I got out of the truck, I looked around and holy cow, you know, this is pretty bad. You know, the grain elevator has got some tin ripped off of it. There was a auto repair shop across the street from where, right next to the grain elevator, that looked like a bomb went off in the back. The whole back side of the building was blown out. Library, the roof was missing off of it, and we were just kind of like, holy cow. And called into dispatch, told them, yeah, Rudd's been hit by a tornado.
The timing was horrible. I mean, with Christmas was bad because there was a couple families that are displaced from their homes. But also the one thing that people don't think about was there was very little cleanup time before everything froze. I mean, normally, tornado goes through June, July, you get rain, but the hardest part here was we had 2 days and then everything was froze. So you had about a 2-day window to get it cleaned up. And like you drive around now, you can still see stuff that wasn't able to get cleaned up that now is gonna have to sit until it thaws out.
It's really great right after the whole storm went through and everything, the few days that followed it, the cleanup effort that came through, it was just unreal, the amount of people that came in and just willing to donate their time and materials and just, water, food, whatever you need, anything, anybody just came and donated. It was really nice to see, little Iowa, little small town Iowa, all come together and everybody just to help each other out. It was truly unreal to see that. And I mean, it really makes you feel like, this is a place that you want to grow up.
Yeah, known the guy, we've known each other our whole lives. We grew up together, we actually went to the same school, and so I've known the goofy kid my whole life and wasn't surprised seeing the video, and I'm like, well, if there's anybody crazy enough, that's who it would be. It's pretty amazing if somebody would risk themselves to make sure everybody in town knew what was going on. So
people come up to him and thank him for saving their life. Like, we're just so proud of him.
Hey everybody, what a show. I expected the walleye fishing to be good here, but it was lights out. It was tremendous. And the fishing in general in the Lake Okoboji Spirit Lake area is just fantastic. If you haven't been down here, you need to come down and experience it. And even more than that, you need to meet the people. The people of Northwest Iowa are amazing. The hospitality that's been put out for us and for our veterans, the Iowa Great Lakes Fishing Club, and all they've done for us, it's just been great. What a great show. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for next week.